Good evening and welcome to Raconteurs News, everyone. It's Monday night, and we've got a bit of a coup for you. I've been kind of muddling my way through the last few weeks, missing badly my partner in crime, Jason, but he's managed to get himself in front of Skype tonight, and he's going to have a chat with us. So, without further ado, welcome back, Jason. How you doing, fella?
I'm okay, Andy. To be fair, I'm not really back 100%. I'm nowhere near 100%, but I really needed some sort of normality in my life as I've been sat on my arse for sort of nearly 5-6 weeks. So I just needed some normality. So I decided that I would struggle my way upstairs on my arse, which I am having to do at the moment, which I'm probably going to have to do for a long time. But yes, I'm feeling okay. Let's just say I'm feeling a lot better than I did when I had not only the shitty leg that they've really, to be fair, they're really fucked up, but also when I had the deadly disease that I got when I came out of hospital. So I feel a lot better for that. But I'm still in a lot of pain, and we're still just trying to get some normality back in. So that's to hope that answers your question, Andy.
Yeah. Well, it's been a worry for us all, mate. I've had people contacting me all the time. How's Jason? And I don't fucking know. He's not in a good place because he's not up for talking about it. So we've all been holding you in our thoughts and sending you what kind of good energies we can. I know there's hell of a turn up already. We've got Follow the Leads, we've got John Hall, and we've got Joan joined us in chat. Good evening, Joan. And then on Facebook Live, we've got John Hull again, we've got Dean Youssef, we've got Owen all the way from Portugal, we've got Ryan Carr, and Warren Bell joined us so far. So we've got a pretty good turnout to start off with.
So, yeah, I do want to say thanks to everybody that sent me messages. Believe me, I got them all. Like you say, I just weren't in a place where I were wanting to talk, or Adi rung me up a couple of times during, I think it was probably about the third week, and I just saw, and I just thought, I just cannot talk to anybody. I was in just such a bad place, such a bad thing. Think shit's going off, but what I needed to get myself out of it, which is why I wanted to come back on the show tonight. And believe it or not, a little bit later or in a while, I might have a little bit of a rant about the NHS and how I was treating there, because they really have minced up my legs. My legs are knackered. I can't. Before this operation, I couldn't walk very far. But I could walk, I could get up, I could go to my car, I could drive, I could do that sort of thing. I cannot do anything now. I cannot do anything. It's just made it completely worse. And the strange thing is, as well, is the leg that they didn't even touch has now got worse. And I've lost feeling on the middle toe on there as well, and they never even touched that leg. So for me, it's something to do with the medication that they gave me on what they call the bridging medication, which I'll not go into at this moment in time. But for me, that's what's really caused all this, because I've never had problems like this before, and with all the shit that I saw floating about in my leg when they were trying to put the stent in. If that sort of stuff's flowing about around my heart as well, then it's not looking very good. But like I say, anyway, we try to move on. We try to make the best of what we've got, what we can do, and on Friday, the doctor did inform me that it was possible that I wouldn't walk again. So if what was wrong with my left leg is what he thought was wrong, so I've had that to contend with. But the best way is to talk about it, and just to get it out there, and just what can I do? I've just got to play the cards I'm dealt, and that's all I can do.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunately, when you're faced with a situation like that, you're quite limited in what you can do yourself. Particularly something like your condition is so bloody rare. Nobody outside the NHS seems to have a clue what it's about. So with a lot of conditions that we come across, there's people been working on treating it in a natural way, but
Andy, I think we might have got a problem on the live feed because somebody's put, "Is there a live show on tonight?" Sambo's put, "Hi all, is there a live show?" And Follow the Leads has put, "Supposed to be Sam," and then put Jason and Andy. So I don't know whether that's started or what.
Right. Okay. No, it's what's happening is it's not somehow playing in the chat room. So let me just edit that page. I'll be able to get it up. All right. Oh, hang on. No. Dark. Right. We'll get that. Copy. And then I can put that in the chat room.
And if you're listening on Facebook Live, we're just trying to sort out a little bit of a glitch that we seem to have had with Spreak over the last couple of weeks. I noticed you mentioned something about it last week, didn't you, Andy?
Yeah, it seems the embedding code for the homepage has gone a bit weird. So I'll just put a message in the chat room now that if they refresh, they should have it back. I'll just check it's coming up for me. Yeah, there we go. It's back. All right, that's come up. Yeah. So we should have the Spreaker listeners listening to us. Facebook. Oh, thanks, Dave. Facebook can see and hear us. We've got Gary from the Butty Van. So if ever you're anywhere near Peterborough on the A16 heading south towards Peterborough, Gaz's van is on your right-hand side just before you get to Peterborough. Awesome rolls there. Bacon and sausages are out of this world. Nice to hear you. And we've got Lou Collins joined us as well. Hi, Lou. I haven't seen you for a long time.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get Lou on the show. I noticed she's been posting a few of these Tommy Robinson. Like I've said, I'm agnostic when it comes to Tommy Robinson. I've got no dog in that fight. I've got no. I'm just interested in how people are reacting, and I thought it was particularly interesting how Louise was reacting, and she was getting rid of quite a lot of people from things. So if you want to ring in and have a chat with us, Lou, at any time, or just drop us a line, and we'll get you on at some point. It'll be very nice to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely fabulous. Yeah, I mean, I've been watching this Tommy Robinson thing, and it's causing massive divide. But I did watch. The guy's name is Sam Williams, I think. He does some commentaries around London while he's working as a tour guide, and he seems to be a very well-read young man, and he's got quite a following on there. And rather than debate the rights and wrongs of it, he just sat on the grass and off his phone, he read the law about contempt of court and what it boils down to. And basically says, look, it's an open and shut case. There is nothing to argue about. So, and then he did hang around and see the start of the Free Tommy Robinson protest. And it was quite embarrassing to see some of the people who were there fronting it. If I'd got a cause that I would support in, I wouldn't want a lot of those people speaking out there, because quite clearly they were worse for wear for drink, and you know they weren't putting coherent sentences together. It was just a mob chanting, basically. Quite sad to see.
For me, the fascination is watching what unfolds. Well, you know, and I generally tend to not watch the mainstream media. Well, you don't get out anyway on mainstream media for the demonstration they had on Saturday. But how things unfold and watching it on social media, and you get one side and they're saying that, look at this is what's going on, this is there, and then you've got the other side. And but what really stands out for me is, and what I didn't notice is an Antifa counter demonstration on Saturday. Well, because we know that they're just all a bunch of like rented pussies, aren't they? And when they come up against proper, you know, big tattooed lads, bald lads, who go out and we'll have a punch up, we'll have a ruck and a fight. Yeah. And that's what was fascinating. What fascinated about it for me was that if we could just mobilise other people in the same way that these people were mobilised behind one cause, and it didn't matter what the cause were, but they realise something's sick and something's wrong and something's not, and they want to do something. That they perceive it to be that way, and so they want to do something about it. And that's what I admire about them, is the fact that they did something about it. They don't just stand there and say, oh, it's Tommy Robinson locked him up and it's all this and it's that and it's others. And they actually went and did something. And to be fair, I don't know. I don't know what were going on there on the speeches and everything. I didn't really. All I was really watching, I was watching the body language. But it was interesting to see that there were no Antifa there, because they just would have got floor wiped to him, wouldn't they?
Yeah, very probably. I see Jones just posted in the chat room. She says, "Hiya, hope you're behaving." She's got a fat chance on that, Joan. Mind you, I don't suppose you've got a lot of option book behave at the minute, have you, Jason?
No, not really. I'm allowed an old speckled hen and a toque on my whatever that is. It's a plastic thing I stick in my mouth and it vapes me.
You dummy.
Yes, that's right. I'm allowed a dummy. I'm allowed a dummy and some scratch mittens.
Great water. Yeah. I did get a Skype call all the way from Bergen in Norway this morning. Also asking how you was, funny enough. Dinny was up there. He's on his holidays, and he just wanted to call in and show me a bit of the ship and ask how you was getting on. And he delighted to hear that you were going to be on tonight, and said he'd try and have a listening. So if you're listening, Dinny, I hope you're enjoying your holiday, mate.
Yes, excellent, Dinny. Yeah, don't have too many beers though, because you might fall over the side. Can you imagine Dinny on a cruise boat? Come on. How many times do you think he's been over the side? He must have been over the side about 4 or 5 times, and then climb back in, completely soaking wet and covered in seaweed. Can you imagine him stand and getting back up?
Yeah, it'd be like one of them cartoon films, wouldn't it? It'd be like some Family Guy goes on holiday on a cruise ship or something.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, Dinny on his jollies. Can't fault him. Can't fault him at all. So, what else we've been talking about? Well, what's been going on while I've been away? Who's been? I don't know. I've listened a few times. I've listened intermittently. But what's been going on? Who's been on?
Well, we had Alex Thompson on from the GCHQ whistleblower on last week. Paul got him on. And Paul did his first solo show. He was a little bit nervy at the start, because he said, I suddenly realised when you said, I'll give you the thumbs up when the intros stopped and your mic's live, he thought, shit, I'm going to have to do this on my own. So he was a little bit kind of stumbling a little bit at the start, but he soon chilled out and he got relaxed into it. And that was an interesting conversation. It's got a lot of great comments on YouTube. Interestingly enough, there's one being brought up that I hear being brought up all over the place. Somebody brought it up in the chat room after the show about Brian Gerrish's maybe brother, Stuart, I believe it is, who's supposed to be on Company's House, a load of Rothschild companies registered in Newton Abbot, Devon, I think it is, as far as I'm aware. And this John Smith, who's always commenting on YouTube saying how shit we are and how shit the guests are, and we talk bollocks and all that. But he spends 4 hours a week listening to us, so I suppose it saves him bothering somebody else. But Alex shot right back at him straight away on there, and he just said, "What a load of bollocks. Brian Gerrish hasn't even got a brother." So he kind of nipped that one in the bud. But we've had
thick plottons.
Yeah, and then the other night, me and Webby was having a chat on her own, and he managed to get hold of Lindsay. Lindsay came round and had a bit of a natter with us, and she's doing some great stuff. She's doing a lot of fantastic work with homeless people, still through a comedy mainly. She did a bit of an appeal for clothes that anybody's got that might help. Super Lead said he's going to put a parcel together and send up to her. We've got a few interesting guests lined up. I know next Tuesday it is. No, it's tomorrow. Webby's got John Wedger on. Now, he's a former Metropolitan Police officer, a detective constable, I believe. And he was working on quite a few paedophile rings, and he's got quite a story to tell. I'll be looking forward to that. But Webby's really been working hard on the guests, and for next Monday, he's got Gareth Ike lined up. So I'm looking forward to hearing what Gareth's got to tell us, because we hear a lot from his dad, but we don't hear a big lot these days from Gareth. So that'll be an interesting one. And then the following Monday, we haven't got anything lined up for next Tuesday yet, but I'm working on one or two things. The following Monday, we've got Francis Richard Connolly coming back on. Now, he's got, I don't want to give too much away, but Francis has told me some of the things he wants to talk about. And believe me, it's going to be different. It's not what you're going to expect at all. Last time he came on, he spoke about the making of JFK to 9/11 Part 2, which was interesting, and I think his crowdfunder got derailed quite a bit. He was hoping to crowdfund that, so I don't think he got on so well with the crowdfunding. But he's been having some interesting connections and conversations, and I'm looking forward to what he's going to tell us about that.
Interesting. I've not spoke to Francis Connolly for quite a while. I know you like to call him Richard, don't you?
I call him Richard, Francis, whatever comes to mind. Yeah. I try my hardest to call him Francis, but he's got Francis Richard Connolly. I usually end up missing the Francis off. So, yeah. So apologies for me getting Francis' name wrong. I'll say Francis as many times as I can before he comes on. And I say, well, I did remember once, I just forgot in the heat of the moment. But, so we've got some good guests lined up for the future.
And, of course, we should mention Adi as well, who's unfortunately flat on his back. This time it's him that's flat on his back rather than somebody in his employ.
Well, I did have a strange thought about Adi, actually. And what with you having your problems with your leg, and then it's like, when women are pregnant and their partners have this, like, sympathy labour pains, it's almost like Adi's got sympathy pains because he's feeling your pain.
No, you see, when my daughter was being born, I had no sympathy pains for my ex. The pains that I felt were just the good ones. No sympathy ones, thank you very much.
What, you mean you just didn't have any sympathy?
Exactly. I didn't have any sympathy whatsoever, but, I mean, that's another story and probably something for another day.
Yeah.
So we've got some good guests lined up. We've had some... I think we've got... your thing's sending me a bit... funny.
What's that?
You're a bit out of focus on your webcam.
Oh, am I?
Oh, yeah.
Let's have a look.
It's knocking me about a bit.
No, that's worse, isn't it? Is that any better?
No, that's totally worse. That's the opposite of what it...
How about that?
It's a bit better.
Okay. Yeah.
That'll do.
Last thing I want to do is send your eyes funny.
Yeah. It's about the only thing I've got left working, even though it's not working very well.
I was going to say, there's enough on you not working without me buggering up the bits that are working. So, yeah, we've got quite a lineup coming up. Apologies to everybody. The emails haven't been going out recently because I've been really, really struggling to cope with getting on board with this European data, blah, blah, blah. GDPR, it's called. It's quite a nightmare and a lot of hoops to jump through, but I think we're just about compliant now, so hopefully we'll be able to start getting the emails out for next week.
All right.
But I'm trying to... I'm reading what Heath's putting in the chat room. I have no idea what he's talking about.
What is he talking about? He's easier than the King Wallace, Skeptum Bravo, Timus the Third of the Cape of Bitty Long Haha. I think he's talking about the King, man. The name.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. There was King Cowibar Calvin Cornelius III.
That's exactly what it were.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, he was a nice bloke, that. So yeah. I've got one or two guests that I'm working on for the future, but I don't want to say too much because I don't want to big them up and then not be able to get them on. So we'll keep working on that.
Okay. Well, what should we talk about then? What? I don't. Do you know what? I've not even been watching telly. I've not even been seeing news. I've not even really been seeing on social media what's been going on. I mean, what has been going on? Have we still got? Is Theresa May still Prime Minister? Is there? You know? Is there? Is it still Russia?
Oh, it's all Russia, yeah.
It's insanity, isn't it? It's complete and utter insanity. If you watch the mainstream news, you get sort of drawn into it, and it's just complete insanity. And then they'll everything's such a a report. You get Sky News on, say in the morning. 47% of people are gonna get crabs this summer, according to a report by a crab think tank. Something ridiculous like that. It's not even news. It's like somebody's just like made some shit up and said, "Here's a report. Bang, have this report. Here's $100,000. Here's a report on fucking on crabs, and are they gonna they're gonna be infected all over the country? You know, we just." That's the level of it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
According to a report, that's what that is. That's them saying to you, right? Well, if this is a lie, we've just covered ourselves because they've said according to a report. They've put the blame onto a third party, and then they'll say, if someone said, well, what report? Can't we do something about them? It's all gone then. It's all gone. It's just a fucking joke. Everything's a joke. Everything is a joke.
Did you have a look at that YouTube video I sent you about the new proposed Article 13? Article 13 could destroy the internet as we know it. What is it? Why is it controversial? And what will it mean for memes? And it's basically saying that from my understanding of this video that I've watched, it's saying that you cannot share anything with anybody that is copyrighted content. So if you want to put a link on your website to something that's copyrighted, you're going to have to pay a tax for it. And it really is a start there. Apparently, anything that also looks like it might just be copyrighted as well is going to be picked up by these algorithms, and you'll get strikes for that. It sounds the biggest load of cobblers ever, but whether it's actually a factual thing or just somebody trying to get clicks on YouTube. I haven't managed to work out yet.
It's, to me, I mean, that seems really over the top and draconian. And what I think will happen if things got into the situation like that is then you get well, I suppose we've already got one, a dark web, but the dark web would be where more people access their information, because that's where they're going to be getting proper information from, and not. I mean, if you look on Shitbook now, if you're going through your app on tablet or something like that, if somebody posts a news story. Let's say who posts a lot of news stories? Webby, right? So Webby posts a news story, and under that news story, if you scroll and stop, a thing will come out from the side, and it'll say information about the source of this, and it only does it on, like, newspapers or mainstream things. It'll say, oh, you can trust them, or this, and it's just. We're being spoon-fed. We're being spoon-fed crap because we don't know what stuff that ain't crap tastes like. We don't know what it tastes like anymore. We get dog shit sandwiches for dinner, right? We're having dog shit sandwiches. We used to have them in the 70s when I was a kid. We were tough then, kids. You won't remember it. 70s, like when electric used to go off in the afternoon and all that sort of crap. I'm talking, we had dog shit sandwiches. And... I've even lost where I was going because it's all that ridiculous.
You sure
I know we're talking about dog shit fat sandwiches.
You sure it's not just the nostalgia about the dog shit sandwiches that's kind of sidetracked you there?
It might have been, actually, because of the I'd had the nostalgia of the whiff of the salt.
Oh,
listen, follow the leads at the end of the month. Don't know about that, but anyway, get a bet on it if that's what you think. Nappy Cream, show of complete control by the puppeteers. Leeds. Don't know what that means. And to shit kickoff time. Well, see, they're talking out of their arses in that chat room, I can't make any sense of what they're saying. Can you? I think we should turn it up. We should, ban them, start banning them. Or, hey, you're talking out your arse. I ain't got a clue what that is.
Yeah.
Are people saying the dollar collapsing? But I think we've been hearing that for quite a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, I seem to remember we used to have somebody regularly used to come on and talk about that every month. Like, whoa, get rid of all your dollars, it's going to collapse. That was about 2 years.
CIA report.
About 2 years since we've heard from him, and it still ain't gone. But no, I think there's some really strange shit going off in America, and I think some of the really weird stuff is kind of tied into what Francis wants to talk about. So that's going to be quite surreal, I think, the chat with Francis.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah. It weren't bad before, were it? I mean, he had a few gripes and a few snipes. So hopefully this time we'll get a bit more out of him and a few more of those said things. And if he tells us some of the secrets that he's been telling you, then should be an explosive show. Explosive show, I tell you.
Oh yeah, we're going to get that. And I don't know what it is. It's kind of puzzled me. When you got ill, I know you're not a well guy, full stop. But when you was looking at going into hospital to have your leg fixed, then we had our grandson. He had to go in hospital and have an operation, and then it seemed like everybody I knew was getting ill. There's Aid, he can't walk, he can't move, he can't get off his bed, he's in a right bloody state. I talked to him the other day, he's saying he collapsed at the door and was there about 4 hours while an ambulance got to him. Which, by the sounds of it, one of the paramedics did him a bit of good because he was a sports physio or something. So I hope you've managed to build on that, Aid, and you're starting to get a bit better. But Alan Wilson, he had a pacemaker and a defibrillator fitted while you were going through your episode. It looks like he's doing okay, but he's back for a bit of a checkup. First one since his operation tomorrow. So if you're listening, Alan, hope all goes well, mate. And we'll get round and we'll have a cup of tea soon and chew the fat over what's been happening.
Yeah, there does seem to be a lot of people that are ill that have got conditions that have been managed rather than trying to be cured.
Yeah, and then there's Rick Simpson. He falls ill. I can't really bring any updates on Rick because the information that I'm getting is kind of not something I'd like to put out on the air because I can't be 100% certain it's true. The guy's telling me the best information he knows, but he said, please don't put it out there because he said, I can't rely on it 100%. It's only little bits here and there. So as soon as we get any news on Rick Simpson, we'll certainly let everybody know. And I did get a message off Big Davey G today. I haven't heard it from him for ages.
Dave Gazer?
Yeah. Yeah, he's...
Muslimic Dave, as we call him.
Yeah, he's fit. Well, he sent me a link to something. Can't remember what it was. What was it? Where's it gone? No, it's gone now. Oh, yeah, it was him that sent me that link to that EU directive about the censorship of copyright content. So, yeah, that's definitely a one to look out for. Because Dave's usually on the ball with stuff like that. He didn't send me stuff that turns out to be just made up bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I've not heard from Dave for, well, I've not seen him since we were in Glastonbury together a few years ago, but we'll not talk about that, I don't think.
Oh, it was a bit, one of your Jason adventures, was it?
Yeah, ever so slightly. One of those.
I see Mark Steele, the guy who we had on talking about 5G a while back. He's getting a lot of flack off. What doesn't she goes by the name of Annie Logical. Somebody called Anne-Marie Carey, and they really are going at it hammer and tongs, them two. So not quite sure who's right and who's wrong on that. I haven't really looked into it, but while people are falling out like that, I just kind of say, okay, I've got time for that, and just move on to something else.
Yeah, I've not seen very much of the. Like I say, I've been out off at scale. Really, I've been all drugged up for the last 5 or 6 weeks, so I've not really been taking much notice. I don't know what's going on. I know that there was some of the protesters, the tree protesters, the tree huggers that are not prepared to embrace the 5G aspect of it that were in court over last week. And I remember that there was a directive by somebody from the court who said, asked specifically the council's council if the head of Sheffield Council, Julie Daw, was happy with pensioners being jailed for protesting against trees. And so I think there were a bit of a kerfuffle and a few legal arguments and that, and then they went away and came back, and yes, she said yes, she was happy with it. Or they got some proof of her saying yes, she was happy with it. So I think they were found guilty on Thursday or Friday last week, and I think they all got. In fact, I know they all got suspended sentences. They didn't get locked up or anything. But I suppose it puts them in a difficult position now if they want to continue to protest the trees that are being murdered in Sheffield. Sheffield's murdered trees.
Yeah, I did see something off one of the. Is it Sheffield Tree Action Group or something? Stag. Yeah, I did see that there's a bit of a kickback there. They really, there's a large group in there saying, "Oh, this is not the place to be posting about 5G. It's, you know, it's all fantasy. It's all bullshit. It's disinformation, and it's distracting from what we're really talking about." So that a bit of a worrying thing. I tell you something you might not have caught. Have you seen Richard D. Hall's got a new Rich Planet film out? It's not another Madeline one, don't worry.
The Jill Dando one.
The Jill Dando one. Did you watch it?
Yes, I've watched it. I've been able to watch everything, mate.
Yeah, well, I can imagine you've had plenty of time. What did you make of the new Jill Dando one?
I thought it was okay. It made some good points. I think it's long.
Yeah,
it is quite overly long, and it does make a lot of good points. But there are some points in it that I perhaps wouldn't agree with, or I would have just picked up on and thought that they were nitpicking points. But apart from that, no, it was all right. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I watched it and I thought, ooh, not heard this particular angle on it before, and I kind of watched it with interest. I mean, I haven't got a dog in that particular fight, like you say. Looking at Jill Dando's murder, it looks to me like it has got certain hallmarks that would lead you to think perhaps the deep state at some level were involved in it. Whereas we're told this guy with a IQ of a snooker ball, he did it. And since they let him out of jail, they're not giving him any compo because he wasn't innocent enough. And the cops are basically saying, no, we're not looking anymore. And then suddenly ex-fiancé gets the job as the Beryl's gynecologist. Bit strange, that one, I thought.
Yeah, Alan Farthing, he's a dodgy character, isn't he?
Yeah.
He seems to be a bit of a dodgy character, that Alan Farthing. Like you say, he becomes is just a doctor from Western Supermare, and then suddenly becomes the Queen's gynecologist after his bird gets
murdered,
a cap in her ass, shall we say, on the doorstep of her house. So yeah, it's a dodgy situation. But I mean, we heard a lot about it from Bernie as well when we had Bernie on. Bernie gave us a lot of insight onto the into the Jill Dando. He linked some of the things that he was talking about to the Jill Dando murder. So perhaps it goes way deeper than just the bombs and the pedos or whatever. You know, it's just, are we ever going to know? You're never going to know, are you?
No,
it's
that's
never going to be known. Look at Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper, they still don't know. How long ago was that? Over 100 and odd years ago. Still don't know. Never going to know. It's interesting. It's entertainment, but and the information is like you say. It's interesting, and it's put together well on the whole, and it's beats wasting a couple of hours of your life watching fucking X Factor or World Cup even. Yeah. Even though I'll probably be stuck in watching that.
Oh yeah. And John Hull's saying, and don't forget Nick Ross, Andy. I did find the quotes that he got from Nick Ross and the clips from interviews were, particularly when they were examined by that Peter Hyatt, the statement analyst, they seemed quite damning on the face of it.
Yeah, well, that's Nick Ross, isn't he? I mean, he's an MI5 man. That's simple as, you know, he's in there. You don't get to front that.
Yeah, he
that sort of TV program. You could say, like, the looks that they were giving that what is it, Terry Hatcher or something, that copper. The looks that he was giving Jill Dando just as she said something that he thought that she perhaps shouldn't have said, or he didn't know she was going to say, or perhaps didn't, you know, he might have even handed her that information and thought, oh shit.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have handed her this. So yeah, it was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I've watched it. To be fair, I've watched it in drug-induced comas type things when I've been trying to fall asleep, and I've been, I've drugged myself up with full of fucking painkillers and sleeping tablets and that thing. I've been drugging myself up so I can get myself to sleep, and I've watched it a couple of times on that, and I've also watched it a couple of times. I've also watched it a couple of episodes again, 3 and 4, I think, today, earlier on, actually. So
yeah, I tell you, something that has been really blowing my mind these last few weeks is I've mentioned it a few times on the show before. And there's a guy called Dark Journalist. I think the website's darkjournalist.com. His name's Daniel List, and he was a mainstream journalist, but he's gone into this thing he calls dark journalism. And what he's saying is there's the official story out there, which is usually cobblers, and then there's all the rubbish conspiracies, the distractions, if you like. And he said what he tries to do is to ignore both of those and go in the middle and find out what's really happening. And I'm particularly interested in light of the JFK murder or JFK assassination, because JFK was a sitting president who, I think to most of us who've studied it in any depth, it's quite obvious he was removed by elements of the deep state. So that was, in essence, a coup d'etat in the United States of America. And but you see, when Trump came to power, you could see those shadowy forces. They were bombarding him from all directions, and there was all kinds of character assassinations, and the mainstream press, which is, I think it's openly acknowledged now, the CIA have got embedded journalists all over the mainstream press. They were ripping him to pieces. So I'm thinking, if they want to remove him from power, there's got to be a good reason for that, and I want to know what the reason is.
Yeah, weren't they also, didn't Obama repeal a law that prevented people prevented TV channels from using subliminal messages and supplanting and using propaganda as well? There was a law that prevented propaganda from being used, and I think Obama quietly repealed that a few years ago.
Yeah. So. It kind of tells you a bit about what's going on. But for me, the links Daniel's made in his X series, I think the last episode went out Friday night. It was episode 13. So anybody who wants to watch that from the start and catch up, most of the episodes are a good couple of hours long, but the depth of information there and the connections that he makes that go out in all directions. I mean, it all starts off around the JFK murder and this insider Robert Merritt, who was a secret, I suppose, a secret agent for Nixon. He worked on the Houston plan. Nixon's effort to derail the CIA by having his own people under his own control, sorting out what was going on, rather than the CIA telling him what was going on and manipulating him. And Merritt basically came out and said, Nixon's got a time capsule. It's hidden in plain sight in the White House. If you agree to publish it, I'll tell you where it is. Now, Merritt has got credentials to back up that he is who he said he is. He was involved in Watergate back in the day, and it seems like the National Archive, who were first approached about this, they've just blanked him. They don't want anything to do with it. So they're trying to do a bit of a side maneuver, and there's been approaches made to the Trump regime to try and get them to bring it out. But then he's connected Trump to the UFO file through his uncle, John G. Trump, who it just so happens was a protege of Vannevar Bush, the guy who is has been known quite some time publicly as the number one guy looking into the UFO reality and trying to back engineer the technology. I mean, there was something came out, I think it was 1950, Wilbert Smith in Canada. He was, whatever he was in the Canadian government, approached the Yanks to see what they knew about it. And they told him that it's the most classified subject in America, way above the H-bomb. And it's been studied by a group led by Vannevar Bush. So it's documented that he was involved in it. John G. Trump was his protege. John G. Trump went in to examine Tesla's papers when he died. And it appears what they were looking for was a device to shoot down flying objects. Now, flying objects is quite an unusual turn of phrase. You'd think that in the 1940s, they'd say airplanes. But no, they said flying objects. And then a few months later, we get this term that's suddenly coined and used everywhere to describe these strange things that we see in the sky that we're not really sure what they are, unidentified flying objects. And then Daniel links all of these characters into the mystery schools, which goes back thousands of years. And he even tells us about, in the last episode, it blew my mind, he was telling about some information that Rudolf Steiner brought out about 100 years ago. And he's saying this is one of the biggest secrets of the mystery schools. But then he shows you a set of cards. They look a little bit like tarot cards, but they're from the 14th century. Now, these weren't made for me and you to go and buy in a shop. They were made and kept among these secret circles. But he's managed to get a look at these cards, and lo and behold, they've got these same secrets encoded in the cards Rudolf Steiner was telling us 500 years later. So there does seem to be some quite amazing depth in what he's going into. And I'm just wondering where he's going to go with it in the end, because it is absolutely fascinating to me. It's really opened my mind about some things.
How long have you been watching that now?
Oh, probably about 12, 13 weeks, as long as it's been going on. I watched it right from the start, and I'll be honest now, it's of my YouTube watching week, that is the major highlight. I really find that 2-3 hours enjoyable, and quite often I'll sit and watch it twice because there's so much information in there. It is really hard to get it all first time and to get it right in your head, you know.
So I take it you'd recommend it then, because I'm looking for, you know, stuff to be able to watch during day when I'm sat here and I can't fucking move.
Oh yeah, I'd absolutely recommend that, mate. I'll get you the link for it. But I've just looked. We're coming up to the hour mark. So do you reckon it's about time we played a couple of tunes?
Yeah, let's play a couple of tunes. Yeah.
Well, I thought I've got a couple lined up. Yeah, we've got one for. No, I won't say what the song's about. I'll let people listen and enjoy them. So we'll be back in about 7 minutes, folks. See you then. Let's shut that down. Right, that's it. So we're still live on Facebook.
Okay.
Link, please, Andy. I'll see if I can get a link for John.
See, normally I could get up and go do something, but I can't. I'm fucking stuck here.
Must be fucking nightmare, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a quick whiz. I'll be back in a sec.
All right. Babe. Baby. You. Woman. I'm going out for my first time on my own tomorrow.
All right. Where are you going?
I've got to have my I&R done. So I'm getting Danielle to get mobility scooter out and leave it outside front.
Oh, shit. Sorry, mate. I've turned my camera off again. Dipstick. Video. Da, da, da. That's it. Should be back now. Yeah, I've dropped that dark journalist. Oh, you cunt. Done it again.
Dipstick.
Yeah. Yeah, hello. There we go. We're back. Full screen. Oh, Patrick's put the link in just as I did it. I'll put it in Facebook as well for them. Oh, we've got Neil Smith joined us and Jonathan Allington. Good evening, Jonathan. Hope you're well. There's another one that's been unwell.
Is it?
Jonathan, yeah. Yeah, he's not been well at all. He had a stroke.
You know, we're fucking dropping like flies, aren't we?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. You know, when you go into NHS and they butcher your fucking leg?
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Oh, yeah.
Completely fucking butchered it.
Yeah.
And then they wanted me to fucking stop in on Friday.
Who did?
Doctors.
What did you say? Stick it.
I said, I'm fucking not.
I don't blame you, mate. Oh, Webby's messaging me now. Show tonight. Where's the 2.5 minutes? Playing a bit of Marijuanaville.
Okay.
Probably turn that one up a bit while we're listening, while Facebook's on, can't I?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big copyright.
A Colombian doobie, okay, baby, come on, man. And soon I'll be up on my way along. Lucy, you got some splendid to do, baby. Wasted away again in Marijuanaville. Searching for my roach clip on a rope. On a rope, on a rope, on a rope. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know that it's all this damn dope. I blew out my bong pipe, ran out of Bud Light, but I found some stash I had hidden at home. Put it into a blender. And soon it will render. These little fudge brownies that help me get stoned. Wasted away again in Marijuanaville. Come on, you guys, sing along with another word. Searching for my roach clip on a rope. On a rope, on a rope, on a rope. Some people claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know that it's all this damn dope. Yes, and some people claim I sound like Dylan when I'm stuck, but I know that it's all this damn dope. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Hi, everybody. All you listeners out there listening to Raconteur News. This is GW, and I demand that you stop listening right now.
Oh, seems we've got some interference from George Bush there, but we're back and ready to go.
He can fuck off.
Yeah, it's the old team back in the chair. We've got Jason back with us. So delighted we've got a great audience listening. We've got loads in Facebook Live, and we've also got a good few in the chat room. Joan's listening. I'm just reading some of Joan's comments. She says there's an awful lot of shagging in the chat room. As I hope they're making use of the free condoms we leave out there.
Yeah, and Dinny is put in here, I would wrap my cock around your neck and start you up like a lawnmower. That's to Leeds. So, well, thank you, Vinny, for that. Dinny, sorry. Thank you, Dinny, for that. Well, that picture in my mind's eye.
Yes, yeah. I'm glad he's got back on because Dinny signed out of the chat there and then got back in again. Obviously, his Wi-Fi is not as good as he thought it was. Oh, I don't know. Maybe he had to go and get another beer. I was astonished when he told me he'd been out on a bit of a trip this morning, and they're in Bergen in Norway, and they went into this market and he decided to have a beer, and 2 small beers cost 200 Norwegian crowns, which when I did the conversion, it's about a tenner a beer.
Fucking hell, fire.
Yeah, you want
that's about the same price as it is in Leeds.
Is it that bad?
I know, I've been to Leeds. And also, Dinny, if you're going to wrap your cock round Leeds' neck, you're going to have to paint it in the colour of white, blue and yellow so that it looks like a scarf. Oh dear, we really must get away from this. We've talked about all sorts of things, haven't we?
There you are. It is the perfect offer for you, Jason. You've got a passport, haven't you? Owen says he's going to change this place into a home for the decrepit. He's already got your rooms ready.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks, Owen. And thanks for the nice messages that you've sent me as well. I really appreciate them. And it looks like you're having a lot of fun down there. He's getting his beats up and he's getting all his veg out and all that sort of stuff. So looks like he's living the dream. Well, to a certain extent anyway. The bigger dream than I am.
Well, I did get a call off Owen. I can't remember what I'd been doing, but I signed on my computer about midday and he called me. And I know he's been through a tough time lately, and he's been dealing with it the best way he can. But now he's got a few friends going down and visiting him and staying with him. The smile on that man's face was a joy to behold. He looked so happy, and I haven't seen that smile. I mean, he's a smiley guy anyway. He's always got a bit of a smile, but I haven't seen that big beaming smile for a long, long time. It was fantastic to see, Owen.
Brilliant, yeah. Anyway, Owen, all the best to you, and enjoy yourself out there, and I'm sure that the rest of us decrepids will be there forthwith as soon as we get as blue passports.
What, Brexit? You reckon that's ever going to happen?
Of course it's not ever going to happen.
No.
Of course it's not ever going to happen. Everything's wrong. It's all nuts. It's all gone. Should we talk about NHS?
Before we do, just about the Brexit thing, I think there was a bit of a warning for people if you look at history, like Denmark, like Ireland. They both voted no, and they're like, oh, no, that was the wrong choice. We'll have another referendum, and we'll keep having another one till you get it right. And as soon as they got the right answer, they did what they voted for. But
it's the oldest trick in the book, Andy, and if we're falling for it, we're falling for it, mate. That's it. As collectively, we're falling for it. All you've got to do is look on Twitter, and you can see that it is snidered. You don't get to see anything apart from remoaning stuff. People that are remoaners that are moaning, that say this and say that. I had one that said, I said, look, we voted out. You need to stop crying. We voted out. And you know what? The woman came back to me and said, Brexit is not just the referendum, it's a process. I said, yeah, the process is we were campaigning, we voted, and now we're out. That's it. It's over and done with.
Yeah.
Just, never going to get it. Just no point. It would just, I think it would just, I don't even know what it were. But it was definitely something.
Here we
go. But it wasn't what it was supposed to be, or what we were told it would be. No. Everything's just going to end up in chaos. Everything's in chaos anyway. I mean, look about what's going off. In London, you've got all these stabbings going off all the time. You've got people being killed. Then you've got the protests going on, in London. And they're going to carry on until Tommy Robinson's released. And they can't release him.
No. To me, I think that the whole Tommy Robinson thing was a big operation to get people riled up. And I thought it was perhaps more than a coincidence that the time the Tommy Robinson thing goes up, they suddenly start ramping the fuel price up, putting a penny on a litre of fuel every day. Did you notice that one as well?
It's gone up a lot, and I think it's gone up in the steepest rise for the last 18 years. And if you think about the 18 years ago, that was in 2000 when we had all the blockades and stuff. So back then it were 80 pence a litre. Now we're climbing towards £1.50 a litre. And what are people doing about it? Nothing, because they've had it all sucked out of them. All the energy, every sapping little bit of energy that they've got. They've got these jobs that they've both got to work for. Then they pick the kids up from the after-school club. Then perhaps they take them swimming or something. And by the time they get home and it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock, they're fucked. You're not going to be organising a fucking fuel protest.
No.
Are you?
No.
You're just going to be feeling squeeze on you. And that's, that's what's made me pleased with the reaction to the Tommy Robinson thing, even though I don't agree with it. I understand exactly why he were locked up. And I don't think there's any free speech. I don't think there's a free speech issue there at all.
Yeah.
But people are actually going out for something that they believe in and doing something.
Yeah. Well, we've just got George Soros has come on the Facebook page. Good evening, George. And I'm sure George Soros knows what's going on with Tommy. And he says Tommy's sunning himself on the beach in Israel.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't surprise me at all. But, but if George Soros doesn't know what's going on, I mean, that name, George, I'm sure it's probably somebody we know.
Yeah, good name, though, George Soros, but obviously not welcome in Hungary.
No, he's not really popular there, is he? So
it looks like Webby's in the chat room.
Oh, Webby. Hiya, mate. How you doing? Nice to see you. You're back from your slave job. And we'll have Webby on tomorrow night, I'm sure, because he's got John Wedger lined up, and I'm sure he's made arrangements to be available tomorrow. So,
Yep, Webby will be back tomorrow night. I'm pretty sure of that. Pretty certain of that. Webby will be back tomorrow night with his guest. With his guest, and is he doing a solo tomorrow night, or?
I think he was expecting you to be on if you're up for it.
Yeah, I'll be on.
He wants a link to the Facebook. How can that work? How can he? There
Who's
we
that?
go. Raconteurs live now. How do I send him a link to that? No. I'll just
post it on his page. Share it to his page.
Oh yeah, of course I can. Yeah. Share on a friend's timeline. That's it. There we go, Paul. There you go. There you go. That's got your link, Paul. I must say, compared to what you've looked like the last few weeks, you are looking a lot better, Jason.
Oh, well, thanks.
Anyway, I suppose that's a good time to... you said you wanted to talk about the NHS before I sidetracked you with Brexit there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to go through what's happened to me, and I want to illustrate how nobody knows what anybody's doing. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what anybody's doing. Everyone knows what they should be doing.
Yeah.
But they don't know whether somebody's done their little bit before they take their bit and they go off. Right. So I'm in on Sunday at 2:00 for this bridging stuff, which is to lower my blood thickness. Well, make my blood thicker in order to be able to have this help. And for 2 days, and really there was nothing for me to be in there for, nothing at all. I got one injection. They didn't even know I was there at half a time, because when I came back one day, they'd put another one of them, them things they put around your wrist when you're in hospital. Yeah. They didn't put another one of them on side for me to put on, because they didn't think I'd got one on, even though I'd had one on the day before. So, we're not working in... I'm also on a ward. I don't know if you've seen this on Facebook, but there's a video on Facebook of a bloke, and it's an old bloke, and he's in an hospital bed, and he gets out of his hospital bed with his crutch in his hand, and he whacks the bloke in the next bed, right over the head with his crutch.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it was like inside on the ward, and I kept pulling curtain around myself because, well, hearing it were bad enough. They mind seeing it and smelling it, and it would just disgust. I had no sleep, and they all slept all day, and then at night they were all awake, fucking moaning because they were in pain. And I understand that they're in pain, because I was in pain myself.
Yeah.
But it was just that the amount of it that there was, and then also on the ward, on a different part of the ward, there was some fucking nutcase who was from the psychiatric ward, who chopped his toe off. So he was knocking about all the time, and he were you could see he'd obviously had a difficult life. He'd obviously had struggled with drugs, and he were just a skinny, sort of typical junkie type bloke. But he had to have two people with him at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was just throwing things about, throwing things everywhere. And the bloke in the next bed to me, like I said, when I came out, I'd got a terrible infection. And my missus got it as well. And so did her mother. 3 of us got it. And it took me about 3 weeks to get rid of that. And the bloke was coughing up next to... He's obviously ill. He needs to go. somewhere else. You know, he needs to be put somewhere where he can be looked after properly. Nobody in there. Anyway, so it gets to the day of the thing, and they said they'll be down for me, so they come down. It's about 9:30, and they push me on my bed through my ward, up past all, all through all corridors. Not very nice being laid on a bed, is it? Being pushed through corridors, you feel like a right dick, don't you? You put your head under the thing, don't you? Pretend you're tenting and having a wank or something, because it's that fucking embarrassing. That's less embarrassing, isn't it, than being pushed round in a bed. So so there you go. I'm there. I get pushed in, chucked in. Then they said to me, "Have you had any an INR test this morning to test your blood?" I said, "No, nobody's given me one." "All right, we need one." So they took me back down to the fucking ward. So again, I'm going back through all hospital. So then they take me back, and then they wait, and it's about 2:00 in the afternoon by the time they come and pick me up. Mm-hmm. It's in my leg for 3 hours. I knew that they were. The bloke would try. By the time we got to nearly 3 hours, I could tell the bloke were wanting to finish, and they were wanting to get done and get off. And so after they're done, and they mop me all up, and I'm fucking covered in blood and all that shit, and then they put me out on this bed, and then put me back into the recovery area. And then the doctor's got to hold his hand on me where it's gone in for 10 minutes for it to stop, so that I don't bleed to death. And I could, I thought to myself, he's fucking itching to get away, him. He's itching to get away. I don't know what it is, but he's itching to get away. So anyway, after he'd done 10 minutes, he goes, "Right, okay." He says, "You can go home. Everything's fine. It looks like this wound is healing up. You just need to lay on your back for 2 hours, then fucking sit up for an hour, and then sit in a chair for an hour, and then you can go." So I did all that. So as I'm laid there, it must be 5 minutes since doctor's left, right? I says to nurse, I says, "I can go, can't I?" He said I can go. And she says, "Oh, he's not written it on notes." I says, "Well, can you get him to write it on notes then? Because he did say I could go." "All right, okay." Fucks off, comes back, he's gone. He's only been gone 5 minutes. He's out of hospital. He's in his squash gear. He's running about with his mate, playing squash and what have you, while my blood's dripping off him. And it was just incredibly bad. So anyway, I've gone back to the ward. They've let me home later that night, about 11 o'clock. Gone home. That's all I wanted, just to be at home. And then this got the infection. Then this shit all started. And so I tell them about my leg. And come on then, come down, and we'll have specialists to see you. This one on Friday. Specialist. Well, don't know what we'll be able to do. I'm reluctant to do any more surgery because of the antiphospholipid syndrome. I don't really want to do any more surgery. He said we could do a bypass. He said the only problem is if we do a bypass and it blocks up straight away, like this has, and that I've put in has blocked up straight away. He said if that blocks up straight away, then we'll have to amputate your leg and all this fucking sort of shit. So now they're deciding what to do. And he said, then, do you know what they said on Friday? Okay, well, we'll monitor you with some painkillers. Are you okay to be admitted? I said, I'm fucking not okay to be admitted. What do you want to admit me for? You're just going to give me painkillers. Give me some painkillers. I'll deal with my own pain.
Yeah.
I said, can you tell us why you don't want to stay in? I said, I'll tell you why I don't want to stop in. Last time I got a rape disease off blocking next thing. It took me 3 weeks to get over it, which is why this shit now in my leg is all knackered because I couldn't take my fucking mind off this shit that I was going through. So this is what's fucking... That's why I don't want to stop in. Plus, what's the point in me stopping in? You're not going to do anything over the weekend. All you're going to do is you're going to give me painkillers. So what's the point in you keeping me in? You're not. Are you going to do a procedure? No. Right, there you go then. I'm not stopping in. And they were fine about it. They were fine about it. But, you know, they sort of just drop it in, you know, if what we think is wrong with your left leg, then you're probably not going to fucking walk again, which is a bit of a bummer. But
too right, man.
You have to deal with it, don't you? You have to deal with it. It could be worse. It could be Webber.
Yeah. Well, he's just posted in Facebook there. He says you're looking loads better than last time he saw you, brother. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
No, drag him in for the last 3/4 of an hour if you want.
We have to give him 3/4 of an hour to get his PC warmed up, won't we?
Oh, yeah. No, it's a bit like that.
If you got your PC switched on, you fancy joining us, Paul, you're more than welcome, mate. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can drag him in. There we go. Let's call him. Here he is.
Is he here?
Yeah.
I can't see him.
Hey there. Oh, no, I thought he'd answered. No, he's maybe not rigged up, ready to talk to us. No, it doesn't look like it. He'd be on.
Oh, here he is.
He's here. Hey up, Paul.
Can you hear me, lads?
We can hear you, man.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Paul.
How's things, lads?
Okay, mate. How are you?
Better now I'm not at work, mate. But yeah, you're looking loads better, Jason, than last time I saw you, pal.
Oh, cool. I'm eating a lot more. I'm doing a lot more.
Yeah, your eyes, round your eyes and everything, you look a lot brighter in yourself, pal.
Excellent.
Yeah, you'd got that grey look about you a bit there, Jason. Yeah, I'm getting it as well. It's coming through Paul.
Shoot. Well, I'm not on the right PC, so I'll drop off if you want, lads, rather than spoil it.
All right, mate. If you get your other one started up, come back and join us.
Yeah, it won't be up in time, but nice one. Anyway, Jason, glad you're looking better, pal. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow, lad.
Cheers, Paul.
Take care, boys. I'll keep on listening.
Take care, mate. See you soon.
Yeah.
Oh, nice one. Nice one, Paul. Shame you couldn't join us there. That was a bit tricky, that one. But, yeah, Paul will be on tomorrow night with ex-Metropolitan Police whistleblower John Wedger. And I'm hoping Jason's going to be back on with him. So it should be a good night tomorrow night. I know Joan said she was looking forward to it, but she's working tomorrow night, so she's going to catch up with the podcast. Dinny's asking, how's your sex life?
Non-existent at the moment. My penis seems to have disappeared into its walnut whipness. So it's like putting out a walnut whip in oven, and then that's pretty much what's going on down there at the moment.
Yeah, I can imagine, mate. Yeah, it's not. I've always found something my dad said to me when I wasn't very old. He got smashed up in a lorry crash, and he got his hip crushed. He was actually crushed in the lorry, and it crushed his hip. And I heard him say, before I really understood what the phrase meant, he says, "Pain is the best contraceptive ever." And if you're in that sort of pain, that's the last thing you're going to be thinking about, isn't it?
It is. You know, I even a few days ago when there were nobody in, I had a look at some racy pictures to see if it had even stirred, but no, nothing.
No,
not a single thing. No. Not even not even looking at pictures of Hermione. Nothing.
Who's that?
Oh, I don't know. Some bird that Heath used to fancy when he were a kid.
Oh, right. Oh, Lisa's joined us as well. Good evening, Lisa. Hope all's well with you.
Lisa
Tanner.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, good. Hello, Lisa. I hope you're having a good day. So what we're talking about now?
Steam powered.
Sorry, he's just called me a liar.
Steam powered laptops in Lancashire. That's one from Super Leeds. If you don't laugh, Leeds, mate. What? I don't know what that's about.
Oh, yeah, you can get Viagra over the counter now, can't you? Apparently.
Yeah. Well, at least it'll stop you falling out of bed.
Yeah, it'd just be like a kickstand, wouldn't it, on a motorcycle?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's like that anyway.
What, hangs down to one side?
It's like, no, it looks like a crushed walnut walnut whip.
Well, it looks
So
like...
what we're talking about now? Come on, we've got about 30-something minutes left.
I don't know. I'm a bit lost myself. I haven't really been keeping an eye on what's going on. I've been concerned with everybody around me being ill. That's been my main focus for about the last 6 weeks. Oh, yeah, anybody who's up in the Widnes area, Lindsay Davis is doing 8 p.m. on the 29th of June at the Studio Lacey Street in Widnes. She's doing gin and comic. And there's a little poster there of her pouring gin down her neck. There's a couple of reviews. Amazing stage presence, brimming with confidence. That's from the Laugh Attack Comedy Club. Leaving 1,500 bikers aching with laughter. Definitely one to watch. That's from Smacktask Comedy. And then she's much funnier when she's done a litre of Gordon's gin. That's from her mum. So, yeah, if you want to get up there and see Lindsay, she's an amazing lady, and she'll be doing a lot of good work to raise money for the homeless. Oh, it's actually a free gig. Or it says free, pay what you want. So because of what Lindsay's doing, I'm sure any of our listeners who went up there had chucked something useful in the bucket for the homeless people that she's trying to help.
Cool. Listen, Nappy Cream, which is Heath, has come up with a suggestion. Perhaps we could put together a Raconteurs News convention in Sheffield. He says he'll do a set. And I expect we could get Lindsay to come and do a set. Yeah,
well, I think it was Super Leeds did make the suggestion that we should hold the Raconteurs News 2018 convention in Portugal at Owen's place.
See, that's a better idea.
It is a better idea. Unfortunately, I'd need to get a passport before we go there. And foreign travel is a bit tricky for me at the minute. So I'll perhaps not be able to be there.
Oh, right. Foreign travel. Is that due to something on the Costa del Crime that... Nah. Are you going to be are you the opposite, and you're one of them people one of them criminals that runs away to the UK?
Yeah, I wish. Oh, bless it. Yeah, Paul likes the idea of Portugal, I think.
Well, his name's in it, isn't it? Oh no, it's Portugal, not Paul. You're wrong. Sorry. Oh, dear me.
Oh, he says that they may not let him back in the UK because he has no passport either. So, yeah, that could be a bit of a snag with the Raconteurs News meetup. There's only 2 on you got passports.
Right. Meet in Sheffield, though. Yeah, we'll get a lot of people. We'll get a few people meet in Sheffield. We might have to put something together, see if we can just get a little meet arranged and... Like the good old days when me and Ada used to do them back in 2013, 2012, whenever it were, back at the old Genting Club, and we had guest speakers on and all sorts. We had some pricks on.
Yeah.
One particular prick called John Bravo. Johnny called himself John Bravo.
Right.
He's done a talk. It's on my YouTube channel. But he did a talk there. Well, it weren't a bad talk. It was just like a bit generic, and he was a bit of a weirdo. But he ended up. I knew that I didn't. I had my suspicions about him from the start, shall we say. He didn't, and anyway, I would prove to be right, and he's a bit of a tosser. In fact, we would all prove to be right. He had a bit of an argument with Tony Farrell for no reason. Just picked on him.
Oh, right. Well, there's I was just thinking, here's you're ill, they're talking about maybe even chopping your leg off. You've had God round for tea in your back garden. Christ, surely you ought to be able to call in a favour or two.
Well, I would have thought so, but he seems to not be answering my prayers.
Ah.
I think he's left his hands off a hook.
Yeah, and he's volunteered you for DJing.
Oh, I'll be good at that. I'll do wheelchair dancing. Oh, by the way, I get one next week. You know, I've got it coming next week. My wheelchair.
Yeah,
it's coming. Yeah, it's ordered.
What, a lucky one?
No, just I've got a spaz chariot, a mobility scooter, but no, like a regular wheelchair, because it's difficult getting around the house.
Yeah.
You go into the kitchen, and I'm trying to get over these. I'm on this desk chair that's got wheels on bottom.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to get over the bits, you know, between each room. But with a wheelchair, it'll be a piece of piss.
I think they're called thresholds, aren't they?
Called what? Thresholds.
The little bits between the carpet and the vinyl, or the vinyl and the laminate, whatever you got.
I don't know. I'm not a carpet expert.
No. Oh, just something I picked up.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, they are. They are called something like that, aren't they?
Oh, Joan's leaving because she's got a show at 9. Have a good show, Joan, and
have a good one, Joan.
We'll catch you again soon, mate. We'll have to have a chat sometime when you're on Skype and we're about. Oh, he's bought you a present, Jason, a brand new vinyl Warren G Regulate 2004, whatever that is.
Awesome.
What's one of them?
It's a record.
Oh.
Warren G Regulate.
Ah, okay.
On vinyl.
Oh, I've not heard of that one. Yeah, you still keep your vinyl going, don't you?
I've got some. I've got a bit. I've got a bit. I've added to it bits and bits. So, what do you think about stuff?
What do you think about stuff? There's an idea. I bet that's a question from Super Leeds. I'm just...
What's the panel's thoughts on stuff?
Yeah, I haven't got any. Stuff. No, I haven't had any stuff for ages.
No stuff.
Now, well,
not good.
It seems like I think we probably need to have a good chat off air before we can have a proper one on air, because I've no idea what's what with you at the minute. But it's a bit strange. We've got to an hour and a half and we're running out of steam a bit. Do you reckon we should? Do you reckon we should call it a night? Play a couple of tunes and call it a night?
Yeah, I think we can do that. We'll be back tomorrow anyway, won't we? We'll have a guest on tomorrow and perhaps some focus.
That's it. Yeah, we don't want to overdo it your first night back. We've got John Wedger on tomorrow night. We'll be starting at 7. usual place, Facebook Live, and we'll be on raconteursnews.com. We'll be on Spreaker /users/Raconteurs News. And we're on loads of them other podcast things, but iTunes and all that sort of crazy stuff that I really don't understand. But apparently we're on there. People listen to us. So keep showing up in the Spreaker stats. So big thanks to everyone for listening tonight. And we'll be back same time tomorrow night. So we'll play out with one from James J. Turner. Thanks, everybody. Good night. That's it. Oh, you know, that was a bit of a struggle tonight.
I'm getting a bit tired, me.
Yeah, I would just. I think doing Facebook and doing Spreaker is kind of a lot to look at, isn't it? It's hard to concentrate on what you want to say at the same time. So I think if we can, I did mention. Oh, we'll get Facebook shut down as well before we. You want stuff. Oh, Susan. Oh, Susan Basket. Hiya, Susan. Owen, take care, fellas. Thanks, everybody on Facebook. We're going to shut it down now. See you tomorrow.